Hey guys, Sean Zine, the host for the Network Marketing Insider, where I bring on network marketers, affiliate marketers, multi-level marketers, and they share their story. Talk about the trials and tribulations, things, the processes that work, mindset, personal development, you name it. You're going to gain some value. I hope you take some notes. A little housekeeping. If you're watching from the website or on the YouTube channel, don't forget, subscribe, hit the like button, drop a comment, at least where you're watching from, and then share that video or the website. If you are listening on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, any other audio verticals, give us a review at the end, and don't forget to go to the description, have a connection call, follow with my guests, and follow all their socials, and definitely connect and see if they could be of service to you. Without further ado, let me bring on a good friend of mine. I call him a great friend now because we've been talking a lot. Robert Hollis. What's up, man? How are you?
What's up? My income. That's what's up, Sean. How are you, man?
I'm doing fantastic. I know this is like the 2.0. We started something. We went into some detail. I learned some things from you, and we're going to do it again just so we can get this thing recorded and put out into the universe and help more people. That's what we're doing. That's what I want to do. That's what you've been doing for years. I want to stop talking for a moment and let Robert share. Who are you, and why did you get into network marketing, man? I love this stuff, guys. You better listen.
Well, Sean, thank you very much. And like you said, the way to greatness is the service of many. So I thank you very much for reaching out to me and sharing this information. I wish the whole world knew about this. And, me, short story, I grew up in Williston, North Dakota, and I was just one of those people that are really good at doing what people told me to do. And that was really, I found out in school that they didn't know how to diagnose us. I'm 63. And I was dyslexic. And so all I remember all the time is people talking, and I could hear them, is that I was special. That I was special, and I was in special classes and right on the short bus. and that's what that's what I did. So when I just remember people saying, listen, he's got to find something to do, like a blue collar, work with his hands. And so I loved working on bikes that turned into motorcycles, snowmobiles. And an uncle that I really admired told me, he goes, listen, you should be an auto mechanic. And really, the only reason that I did things is everyone forgets how important a one word of encouragement is. So here's a guy that, just said, Bobby, you should work, you fixed all those things. You should be a mechanic. And I was going like, great idea. And he told me to go to tech school, and I went to tech school and got out. And now I'm like at that age of 27, and I was really frustrated and confused. I felt the whole world lied to me because I had an above average job. I was working on race cars. I was working for a billionaire named Roger Penske. And it's like, I still didn't have enough money. I was like, how do people buy a home? How do people have a new car? How do you live in an area where it's, not crime ridden? Because we usually, how you find the cheapest places to live is usually not in the good areas, right?
True.
And all of a sudden what happened to me is I looked at it as devastating at the time. But to show you how smart I am, I was working at Toyota Research and Development, and they came out with a new Toyota van, and it was front wheel driven, but you also set over the front tires. And so we pulled it up on the hoist. It was having braking problems. We pulled the front tires off, and it started to tip on the hoist. And my first response was to stop it. So I failed at that. The van actually almost amputated my leg. And immediately I realized that I'm in the hospital. And I just remember a doctor looking at me and going, oh, you're a mechanic? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, not anymore.
Oh, yep.
So you got the encouraging word. And then you got, this authoritarian guy named a doctor, that's looking at me saying, you can't be a doctor anymore. You're lucky if you'll be able to, walk on this leg. And I was just devastated. My whole identity was gone. I think, Sean, it's funny when we meet people, it's like, well, what do you do? It's like, well, I'm a mechanic. It's like, so when you're not a mechanic, who in the hell am I? And I just remember being at a very dark place in my life. I had to have a couple of surgeries, and I was like, what am I going to do? And I'm pretty bold with this because, I didn't know what else to do. So I just raised my hand and said, man, God, if you're there, you know what I mean? Help me out. Give me an answer. And I had this guy that I only met a couple times. I wasn't a friend or anything. And he called me up and he goes, how are you? How are you? And I lied to him and told him I was great. And I was making $900, no electricity, having the repo man, trying to get my used car away from me from a pawn loan. And he said, listen, I met a guy today that showed me his check attached to the pay stub, and it was $62,000. Yeah. And he said, that was for a month. And he said, who do I know that would be interested in learning what he's doing and make six figures their first year with their proven coaching and training? And I just wanted to see this guy's check. I was very ignorant and unaware. When we hear about Elon Musk, being the first $500 billion man, and getting $1 trillion package. It's like I was just going, all this stuff is fake. I just really didn't believe people made money. It's obvious, but I didn't.
Right.
And he was going like, oh yeah, I said, I want to meet him. So when I met the guy, it was like the first thing I said to him, I'm one of those people that are very direct and driven. And I just said to him, I said, can I see your check? And he goes, yeah. And so as soon as he showed me the check, I just had a couple of things. I just said, why haven't you cashed this check? And he goes, well, I'm learning from a mentor named Larry Thompson, and he learned from Jim Rohn, and Jim Rohn learned from Earl Schoff, and Earl Schoff learned from Rich Snackenberger. These are all the first people that made billions in this industry, right? And he said, when I get my next one, then I can cash this one, and I got the next check to show. And so I went, okay. So I seen it. It was attached to the stub. The next thing I asked him is, what'd you do before this? And he goes, well, I worked at a tire shop. And I was going, oh my God, I'm going to be a millionaire. I just looked at an auto mechanic as being a little sharper than someone that worked at a tire store. And I did that too, right? And then the next thing I asked him is, I said, how long have you been doing this? And he said, 6 months. Well, he didn't lie. Because he had been with a company called Herbalife that was one of the biggest companies back in the 80s. Mm-hmm. And so they had a little bit of trouble with the FTC. So then they all moved over to a company called NSA, National Safety Associates. And I caught this guy at perfect timing. And so, I'm one of those guys, if I were going to teach you, Sean, how to do a brake job on a car, to replace the brakes on a car, what people don't realize, and here's where I see why when people hear, oh, I heard a majority of people fail at this. This is why they fail. They will not surrender and follow instructions. They won't. They think they're smarter than everyone. They think that if they get involved in something that's made money, that they can put their own creative broke spin on it, reinventing the wheel. I was not interested. I was, if you looked up in the dictionary under desperate, you would have seen a picture of me. And I'm trying to figure out how not to get my car repoed, how to get my electricity back on. And he goes, listen, this business is really simple. But like when I talk about doing a brake job, there's not a sequence of events that you can mess up. So you got to take the tire off. You got to do things in sequence to do it. And when people get in this, they're going, well, I think I'm just going to listen to a number of different people. I'll go to many coaches. I'll listen to everyone. I'll figure out my own way. And it's like, just follow instructions. Just do it. So he said to me, hey, listen, this is how it works. I put 70 people in front of my mentor's VHS tape in my first 30 days. And he goes, let's say you're half of me. And I said, I'm half a nobody. And this is no internet, no cell phone. And so I got 72 people to watch that video. 11 of them got involved, and 6 of them made me a millionaire before the age of 30. And my whole thing is Say as little as possible to as many people as you can, as fast as you can, because this is not selling and convincing. This is sorting. So that was 39 years ago, Sean, and millions ago. And just very, very, very blessed. I love this industry.
No, it's powerful, and it's like you were saying, you can make money by leveraging other people, and it's getting the right people in place.
Yeah.
And like Robert was saying, really giving something a video, giving them a presentation, let that sell your opportunity.
Yes.
And like Robert was saying, there is a sequence. If you follow your foundations, you'll have more success. But everyone jumps to, oh, I could tell in 5 steps how to become a millionaire. They'll jump to step 5 and they forget about all the others. And that's a problem. And that's just how I think we're set up with school, right? In general.
Yeah, they treat success like a lottery. You know what I mean? So my goal is to get my butt off the couch, go get a lottery ticket, wait for to see the numbers, and now I'm done. It's like successful people are very, very consistent. And here's a phrase that I don't know if you've heard, Sean, but it's called master the mundane. See, people that are very, very, very successful have no problems with doing the same thing monotonous numbers of times. You know what I mean? So you see somebody win at gambling, even though I don't tell people they should gamble.
Right.
But the people that win and make money every year that shows up on an IRS statement, they're consistent. And the majority of the time they lose. But they're so consistent that their wins are really, really big. And that allows them to have freedom, which I think, freedom and fulfillment is really the key of what everybody's going at. Because if people won the lottery, what would they do? They would quit their job.
Yeah, true.
So people say money doesn't buy happiness, but being poor doesn't buy happiness either. Struggling. So it's like I tell people, pick one.
No, it's right. I like everyone. You have to fall in love with the process. When I was a baseball player, I love staying after, hitting off the tee hundreds and hundreds of times. People are like, why do you keep doing that? Because I want to make myself better. They get into a business like an online space or network or affiliate, and they think they can just pay for something and not do anything. The process, yes, sending out, maybe content. You have to do videos. You have to go on to podcasts, do phone calls, and actually build relationships. They forget that's a part of any business you're involved in.
Yeah.
If you're not building business, that's a problem. And you're hoping sharing a link, you're just spamming links and hoping something happens.
Yeah, but when people, we got our little plaque here, me and my son, we got 150 million views on YouTube. But I can remember like it was yesterday, where we're probably almost 3 years in, and I was looking at the total amount of subscribers, and I think that we had 7,500 subscribers. And to get this one, you need 100,000. And I was going like, this is never gonna frickin' happen. And so I reached out to some people and even paid a little bit for some coaching from a guy. And he goes, hey, I kept records of every month and every year. And so he showed me and he goes, man, I had 5,200. I had 5,200. You have 7,500. You're kicking my butt. But this guy at the time that I talked to him had over 3 million subscribers. And I'm going like, okay, so I tell people to be consistent. This is, when you look at 5 years, 5 years from now is going to pass anyway.
Right.
So getting good at what you're supposed to be getting good at, being authentic, right? And just being you and stop being everybody else here. I always tell people one of my favorite books, Sean, is The Greatest Miracle in the World by Og Mandino. And my mentor told me to read that book, and it changed my life because everyone's trying to be like everybody else instead of proclaiming their uniqueness, right? Yes. So when you realize, wow, I'm unique, and so maybe that's valuable. And yeah, it's valuable. I'll tell you who it's valuable to. people that are scared to be their uniqueness. So watching you makes them go, man, you know, what that guy like 300 pounds and he doesn't care. You know, it's like it doesn't. He says words that don't exist, like get gooder and gooder, and it's like, you know, it's just hilarious. I used to always get when I was really young, and before my 30s, is people would say, you know, you can't write and spell because you're dyslexic, and you don't speak proper grammar. And I was going like, I know, and to think that I are a millionaire. You know what I mean? It's like nothing better than irritating people that are trying to figure things out, but they won't follow a proven path like we talked about.
And it's there. Like there's so much out there. People just don't want to take the time. They're just hoping things are going to happen, or osmosis. You're going to go and you're going to fall asleep, and all of a sudden you're going to have this whole, you know, downline set up for you. That's another thing. Oh, I love people. Oh, I'm going to get spillover. I'm going to get this, join this company. I'm going to get spillover. I'm like, wait a minute. Are you going to do anything? Are you marketing it? Are you promoting it? Are you sharing it with people? No. I'm just going to get spillover. They said they're going to get tons of it. Spillover is just like an extra thing you might get if it even happens. If you're hoping to get that, you're already lost. That's why you're not going to win, because it's not anything for you.
I tell people all the time that tell me that, as I go, so why would someone get involved with you? And they go, what do you mean? And I said, well, you get spillover, but the people that you bring in that you want to bring in should get spillover by your efforts.
Right.
So are you just looking for spillover from people above you and you're not going to contribute and help anyone below you? And people go, wow, I never thought of that. And my deal is if there is something out there, when I was exposed to this industry and it changed my life, then I'm going to spend the rest of my life sharing it with people. And again, that whole concept you and I were talking about, a dear friend of mine, Don Fela, that recently passed away. And I think the biggest mistake that people make is this whole concept is say as little as possible to as many people as you can, as fast as you can. See, people never ask people if they're interested. So the whole phrase, do you know of anyone that would be interested in owning their own life? That's simply piquing their interest. And if a person's not interested, then why would you go through all the effort of sharing with them everything that you know? Because they're still going to say no. And even if they decided to get in, they're not going to do anything. So if we looked at this as a relationship and you walked up to somebody and you're single and you went up to them and you go, hey, are you interested in finding a loving relationship with somebody that you could, you know, end up spending the rest of your life with? No. Why would you spend any more time convincing them they should date you?
Right.
No. So we're scared to ask that question, right?
Yeah.
So then what we do is we date and then find out later that they weren't interested. What a waste of time. Why not?
It's mind-boggling. Like, oh, I do all this follow-up. You're going to follow up to your dead. It's not going to do anything. You're hitting the wrong angle on there. What about, Robert, why does family and close friends never want to get on board with people that are involved in network marketing, which is crazy because I'm always telling people you want to get to know, like, and trust someone. So you're building this all up. You have strangers that join your business. But my brother, my father, oh, you're doing those pyramid schemes again. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm showing them I'm making money.
Right.
Oh, but it's a pyramid scheme. I'm like, you work in a pyramid scheme. Everyone's involved in a pyramid scheme if we want to play that game. But how do we help those? Help me. Help get my brother on board. How do we do that?
There's only one way. One way. And to tell this story quickly, when I first got in, of course, everyone said, you know, your family and friends are not going to get in and support you. And I went, nah, that's not true. They know who I am. No, that's the reason they're not getting in. And I always love telling this story, but, you know, in the Bible, it always talks about Jesus told his disciples to go 2 by 2 because a prophet is not welcome in his own hometown.
Mhm.
And so now I've been doing this for 39 years. I've made over $60 million. I tell people, and it's funny that they go, well, who are you? Or, I go, well, Google me. I'm very, very blessed when people do that. They go, holy cow,
Yeah.
right? But my friends and family that are very, very close to me don't call me Robert. They call me Bobby. And they'll still, after 39 years, they'll call me up and go, how's everything going? I go, great. And they go, listen, I got this weird noise in my car. And I was wondering if you could listen to it and tell me what it is. See, they still see Bobby, the auto mechanic that they grew up with. And so even in the Bible, it talks about, that Jesus couldn't do any good works in his own hometown. Why? Because he's the carpenter's son. He's not Jesus, he's the carpenter's son. And so it's funny to me when I think about it, because I can go home, and I live in a small enough area where they have all the reunions happen every year for every I only had 50, 60 people that graduated in a class, right? And I can go back there and they're going, do you still smash beer cans on your head? That was so funny, and I'm going like, no, I don't do that anymore. I don't even drink anymore. And it's hilarious. So, when Jesus said that, it's like when Paul goes to Paul Town and he shows up, Sean, how are you doing, man? Remember that one night, blah, 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 right? Is Paul just says, yeah, I'm still that goofy guy. But I need to tell you some quick stories about Peter. And it's so weird in life that we look at people that we don't know as experts, and we won't do any due diligence on them. None. And so when they start talking to Peter, then Peter says, well, listen, really, I'm not really a big deal. I'd like you to show up at the town square because I'd like to introduce you to Jesus. And then Jesus goes, listen, it's not me, it's my Father. And so it's this weird thing. And I'll even share a funny story, Sean, when it comes to personal relationships, like a husband and wife. If you're with know anyone that's been married for a long time, they all have this experience where they're telling their spouse about something. It could be maybe a natural remedy to something, right? Or something, or a show or a book or whatever. And it's like the spouse is like, listen, I know you, so no, right? And it never fails, where it could be 6 months, a year, 2 years, or multi-years later. And then your spouse comes home and goes, oh my God, have you heard of this person? Yeah, I've been telling you about them for the last 8 years. No, you didn't. But see, they heard it from another person that talked to a friend, and that friend said, you should look at this. And they go, okay. So I said that one way that you could possibly get them, if you can get them, is really build a good relationship with someone that's already doing this and in this industry, and they're successful and they're documented, and have them reach out to the person, totally cold market, and not use your name. Here's another true story that you'll love. My oldest son is 43, is Robert Hollis Jr., right? And so he always knew what his father did. And he always worked for me, and I paid him to do all kinds of stuff where, I would do large meetings, and he would do the AV stuff and the video editing, and he would do all this stuff back in the day. And he got so good at it that someone, pulled him away from me. They hired him out from underneath me. And it was a makeup company called Senegens. All right. And so they've done really, really, really good. Right. And my son does all their stuff. I mean, he takes care of their shipping. He does their video editing. He sets up events. He does all of this stuff. Right. And so they bring in a speaker, a very well-known speaker in the industry. And Lori Ware is her name. And she steps up in front of the crowd and then does her deal. Well, then the owner steps up and started, giving everyone praise and recognition and saying congratulations. And, oh, by the way, I'd like to also say thank you to the staff. And she started naming off the staff. And then she said, oh, so that, let this whole event and everything, I want to, thank Robert Hollis. And the lady interrupted the owner. and said, Robert Hollis. Yeah, where are you? And he rose his hand and she goes, there's a Robert Hollis in this industry that's a Hall of Famer. Do you know you got the same name as him? Yeah, that's my dad. And in front of everybody, she goes off on him. She says, you know what? I know this sounds awful, but I would allow people to take parts of my body to work one-on-one with him. He's helped so many people. He's helped so many companies. And see, there's my own son.
Right. Right.
And it wasn't until he heard the perspective of somebody else. And what worked out really, really well is he came home, told me the story, and he goes, I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to work with you. And so I've helped 68 people earn over $1 million in commissions in this industry. And 2 of my sons, and the last one's my wife. So
that's funny. That's amazing. It's like, and it took a while to get your wife, but I hear that with my wife. She's like, I'm like, I'm doing
years.
I opened the new school up. Oh yeah, I hear you talking about AAA. Now I hear you talk about your Connection Creator Academy, and I'm like, oh wait, you're paying attention, but you don't want to get involved because those you would think your mom, your dad, your husband, your wife would be the ones on the billboard. Yo, call Sean, call Robert, do this. But they are. But I also say we didn't train them right. We didn't educate them right. We didn't take some time to go a little because we think we know them too. And I want to end on this. And you brought this up as far as two people, guys. It takes 2 people to get this thing really snowballing. You recruit that R word that people are afraid. I don't like to recruit. Bullshit. If you want to make money, you got to recruit 2 people and teach them to get 2 people each. So this stuff starts multiplying.
Yeah.
So can you give us some tips in the next 3 minutes of how to really amplify getting the 2?
Well, the one thing that I tell everyone is when you say the R word, right? Recruit. Every professional sports team and every Fortune 100 company does it. All right. So there's a team, there's a paid group of people that are constantly looking for the new recruits for a basketball team, football team, college, pro. They have headhunters, they call them, and Fortune 500 company. And so here's what I do. This is what I was taught to do. Is step 1 is get excited. Now, a lot of people don't teach this, Sean, but if you can help someone really imagine and get emotional about a life that them and the people they love can have, they won't go into action. And then secondly is just telling them that it is a sorting game. So what you do is I use videos now, this one is I use videos to be able to pique someone's interest. And so, a lot of you might not believe this, but you could just share this video and people are going like, well, what the hell are those 2 guys doing? See, so what a lot of people do is they just go out and talk to a lot of people. And I watched this one guy recently that's a lot of people are on YouTube now that do these things where, like Mr. Beast, they give away millions and millions and millions of dollars. And there's this guy named Juan that's sitting in front of a college. Kids are walking toward the college and they're also driving bikes. Mm-hmm. And he walks up to him and he says, you're riding a bike. Yeah. Would you be interested in me giving you a car? No, thank you. Get away from me. Do you have a car? I do not. Leave me alone. He had 5 cars that he gave away. And most of the people that came up said, no, thank you. Get away from me. This must be some kind of scam. This is stupid. This is not real. And it was crazy until one person said, really? And he's like, yeah. Do you want to see the car in the parking lot? Now, it's okay to be suspicious of a stranger, but not as suspicious of a stranger that has cameras around him.
Right.
But no one knows how to think anymore. So they wouldn't go, I don't think this person could abuse me or try to kidnap me filming it. It's like, come on. But that's the point. So what I tell people to do is it's a phrase I use: point, guide, and direct, because people are not going to look at you. So if you're working directly with Sean, look at the videos that Sean has. This is always my quick training. And here's how simple life is today. This time right now is better than any time in history to become successful. And let me tell you why. It's because I can use Sean as this expert. Remember, we were just talking about why they won't listen to me, right? And so all I can do is reach out to people and say, hey, listen, I'm working with this guy, Sean. He's a really nice guy. He's a family guy, and he's helping people, get more income and freedom in their life. Well, what is this? Let me share you Sean's video. So right now, if all of you are listening to me, think about this. Honestly, have you ever watched a video online? And while you're watching it, it changed something in you. You giggled, you got mad, you were like blown away. Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. And maybe even some of you will feel like a little pissed off, because it's like injustice to people, right? But as you're watching the video, you're in your mind, you go, I got to send this to this person. I got to send it to this person. You're just like, this video makes me feel, so I need to send it to all these people. That's all I teach people to do now, Sean. So if you guys look at Sean's, wherever he's got his videos, watch the videos, and the ones that make you feel, oh my God, I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of that. Grab that video and send it to other people. And if they say, I'm not watching that, I'm not interested, well, all I'm looking for is I will send a video to 2,000 people, 3,000 people, to have that one person go, well, that was interesting. What did you actually say that people make $1 million a year doing this? Yeah. I want to know more. And so, you go through thousands of people, and in my best years, Sean, making over $2.8 million a year, I had 758,000 people in my group.
Whew.
But only 9 people were responsible for all of that income. So if you watch sports, there's a lot of players on the bench. There's a lot of players that are playing. Well, why is it 1 or 2 people that make the difference? Mm-hmm. You will find those people, and get this, it's not about you. They will you can sponsor them and enroll them, and they'll run through you to get to Sean. They'll immediately know you're not the person that I need to talk to, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's my key to success, is I teach my people the point, guide, and direct people to videos that will answer all their questions, not to be the deal. Don't be the deal. If you've seen what I'm doing right now, it's a series of videos that do nothing but pique their interest, less than 2 minutes. Then it goes to the next step. So
that is phenomenal. And that's, if people are not taking notes, maybe you just popped in now, you're going to have to wait till this uploads, get it from the beginning. Reach out to Robert. I actually got on a phone call with him, which he doesn't normally do, and I'm not going to even tell you how I even did it, because it's something that
that's a training video all on its own, Sean. You got
and I'm going to make sure my parents watch this episode, my brother, I'm going to have my sister, and my wife. I'm going to be like, I need you to watch something for me. I'm going to see how it changes them. And when you're watching it, all the ones I just mentioned, you'll see what I'm talking about. But I appreciate.
Do you know, Sean, before you close out, this industry that we're in is 175 years old. And people are like, are you sure? There's people right now where you go through everything in their cupboards and their kitchen, and they have what is called Watkins products. And Watkins products are sold at Target, they're sold at Walmart, they're sold all over. And all the guy did one year, it was 175 years ago, is go, oh, by the way, Sean, people don't know how good my products are. You can go to my website, sign up as an affiliate for free, And if you use your link, I'll split the difference between wholesale and retail with you. And I'm going,
no brainer, man.
Why doesn't people get this? I don't understand how people, well, yes, I do. Sean, I'll let you close.
Hey, stay tuned, everyone. We're going to have another episode from Robert. But Robert, stick around for another moment. Everyone else, we appreciate you tuning in. Don't forget, hit subscribe, hit the like button, drop a comment, and share this video with someone you love. Thanks again, Robert. Everyone else, have yourself an amazing rest of your day.